Hi friends, welcome to Figma 100 Day series. Today is day 3 and we are going to design a landing page challenge. So let's start. First we need to select the frame, and then on the right side let's select grid, layout grid option, and then choose column. In the count section we will type 12, or we can select from drop down like 12. In the opacity use 4%, and in the instruct we will use center, and width will be 80. Gutter 20 is fine. So this is our grid. Okay, it's time to create logo. So for logo we need to select instruct, we will use center and frame. So let's make it 40 by 40, and now our frame will look like this. Okay, so next thing we need to add corner radius. So here we will just type 99, and now we will add fill color, and instead of solid we will use linear gradient. So first we need to select the light color, and then for the second color let's choose the dark one. Okay, now let's select type tool and just type U. Now let's cut this and paste inside the frame. Make it white. Select eyedropper tool, press I on keyboard and select the white color. Let's select the text, and for font we will use enter and semi-bold or bold. Okay, so let's make it 14. Center line, and now make it properly center line. Duplicate this frame 2 times, so press option key and just make 2 copies. Let's select all frame and convert it to auto layout. Add auto layout. Here we will just type 8. Now we will modify each frame. So select this one and make it X. It's now 1 frame. Okay, so here again we will select type tool and just type design academy. Okay, so for the type again we will use enter and semi-bold. Instead of 14 we will use 12 and center line. For the case we will use uppercase, and let's make the gap 25. Now let's select both and create auto layout and make it center, and for the gap we will use 8. Color we will use this light gray color, and for the spacing from the top we will use 48. So our logo will look like this. Now let's select the main frame, and in the fill color select eyedropper tool and pick this color. For the navigation select type tool, select type, we will choose 14, semi-bold. Now right click and add auto layout. First we need to assign fill color. Now let's use corner 99, and for the left and right space 16 is working, and for the top and bottom let's use 8. Instead of flat white we will use gradient, and for the first color we need light gray, and for the second color let's use the dark one, and for the type we will use white. Now let's add effect drop shadow, and in the white let's use 16, and for the blur let's use 32. For the color add this purple color, and for the opacity let's use 50%. So this is our first menu item. Let's duplicate this, and now let's type and make it light gray. Remove fill, make it 75%. Okay, let's select both and create add auto layout. Make it duplicate again. Next we need to add spacing, so just use 8 and make it center line to the main frame. Duplicate this with the option, and we'll make a copy. Type email, remove the uppercase, and for the spacing let's use 10, and for the size let's use 14. Instead of bold we will use medium. Just place it here, and for the background gradient let's copy this gradient, add it to the fill color, paste properties. Let's make it again 99, and gradient let's make it something like this. Now let's drop the opacity to 75, so it's look like this. It's time to add icon, so we will go to plugin, Google Material Icon Design Pack. Just type email. We will use this icon, so let's cut this and paste it here. Okay, so let's make it 24, make it white and place it to the left side. Okay, now in the gap let's make it 8. This is our button, so let's select all these 3 items and align it. Okay, so now make it, I think 40 is good. Let's make it 40. For this gap 16, so just reduce the size for now. Let's just add drop shadow to this button. So in the effects, let's click on add the drop shadow. For the Y, just use 16. For the blur, let's use 32. For color, we will sample this color. I think it's looking good. Let's make it 75%, and this is our button color. And just type bold and make it left align 0% spacing. Of the size 64, I think in good. And for the line height I will use 64. And let's see if this is looking good with this idea. Just to add color like this matte color, and for the second color let's make it this light gray color. So this is our title. I think it's looking good. Now let's add paragraph. So select again. I will just copy the text from the design and let's select the type and make it the typography. Okay, let's make it to the auto height, and for the letters we will use 16, line height 24, and regular let's make it this gray. Okay, it's also this gray. Let's make it 75% opacity. Okay, now let's select both and create auto layout. For the auto layout we will use 24 or make it 32. I think 32 is good. Let's make it 64. Now let's add button learn more. So for this we will use the same button. I think let's copy this with the option key and we will use this button learn more. Okay, so here we just use 32 gap, so here we will double that. So instead of 32 I think we will use 64. Let's select this text and the button, right click and add auto layout. So here we will just type 64. Let's make something like this. I think we can use, instead of 16 let's make it 14. And for the line height 48. Okay, so now let's create the play button. So for this we need to select rectangle tool and just create a rectangle, round the corner and make it 64. Yeah, I think 64 is fine. So now let's copy this color and paste it. So make it again 99%. Let's angle the color slightly. Instead of, we will use angular gradient, something like this. Now select the polygon tool, place it here. we just need to make it white, just center line. So now we need to add drop shadow. Make this look like this. Okay, I'll just make it hop, and we will use 80%. Let's make this black one. Okay, make the thickness slightly. Okay, so we decrease the thickness. Now we will now add text. Let's make it 5%, and size is 14, medium. Okay, so now select these two items and create auto layout. Now let's select this, group it. Now select the text and the button and create auto layout. Okay, so now for the hero section we need a photo of a student using laptop. So I find this image on pixels.com. Next step, we will remove the background. So let's download the image. Okay, it's time to remove the background from the photo. So I use remove bg website. I just drop the image to the side, and as you can see, it's removed the background, and it's looking pretty good. So download this image and use it in my design. Select frame and turn on the grid. Now we will select rectangle tool and draw a rectangle shape. Okay, let's round it like 99%. So let's place both images with background and without background. Okay, just paste here. Okay, now I will place this same. Now let's resize it for 5%. Copy this rectangle, and also for right now we will just leave it here. Send the rectangle to back. Now select both images and use mask. Okay, now place the same rectangle which we have already copied, and let's copy this gradient and paste in the opacity. I think we will use multiply. Okay, so now let's select both rectangles and align it. Group both and copy, paste to replace. So now slightly resize. To select the transparent photo with the command key and go to image and increase the contrast. Also just increase highlight slightly in the shadow. Figma panel and view panel option show the left sidebar. So now select these two rectangles and just increase the size. And also for the blending mode, let's use hard light to make it more soft. Duplicate this and bring it down. Remove the fill, add stroke. For the solid we will use dash, and let's make it more bigger, like so it will look like this. Let's go to view panel, show left sidebar. Now let's create rectangle. Let's both select and create add auto layout. Let's add fill color. For the padding, let's use 16 by 16. Let's make it 16. Okay, so let's use this 100. Just paste it here. Okay, now copy the button and paste it here. For the top and bottom, let's use 32. Size, let's use 12. center line, make the whole layout to center. Let's make this smaller. Okay, so let's select title and make it 20, semi bold, center line. Okay, so let's select the circle and make it 80. Reduce the line height of this text to make it 20. Okay, so now let's add fill color to the background instead of white, and break, let's add white color to make it dark. For the type also make it dark. Also we will add same gradient. Let's make the gap 16, make it fixed width. Place this card below the image. Now let's duplicate the card. It's repeating process, so let's speed up the videos. For the card we need some 3D shapes and icons, colorful icons. So I searched in the community and find this file glaze 3D icon free sample, and now I'm going to use it for the card. So let's copy these icons. So now let's resize this. So I press K and just make it. Okay, now copy, Command X, paste it here. So now select this one and let's make it 80 absolute position. Okay, so now we are going to align these rectangles. So first we need to select these two and bring it down a little bit, something like this. Okay, now select these two and also bring this down a little bit. This one is also, I think, something like this. So now we need to create some depth in the design. So copy, paste, and now press K to reduce the size. Okay, so now let's add effect, layer blur, and type 5. Okay, so now let's add this. Again go to effect and layer blur, and here we will just add a layer blur slightly. Okay, now press K and reduce the size. So now we need to select rectangle tool and just click. So Figma by default create 100 by 100 rectangle. Let's make the corner round and make it white. Let's make it 80. Okay, first we need go to add crop shadow, and here we will use 20, 40. Just duplicate this. Going to copy the icons and paste it here. So let's start. First icon we will use Figma, and just select the drop shadow and choose the color. So we will use red. For opacity we will use 50%. Okay, so now let's copy the whip flow and update the drop shadow to same whip flow color. So now let's make it 50%. One last thing, paste it here. Let's place it into. This was the today challenge of day 3. We have designed landing page. So hope you like the video and the process. If you like and want to support us, please like, share, comment and subscribe, and also share the video with your friends, so it will really support us. Thank you very much.